Well, hello, good afternoon, California. It is Tuesday, Election Day. What an exciting day in the country, obviously here in California as well. And as you know, during this campaign, we've done our best to introduce you virtually because of our new normal to deserving nonprofits, these organizations that you can get back to via your Our Promise campaign contributions. Today, we're doing something a little bit different, and I'm really excited about it. Each year, as part of the ongoing Our Promise campaign, we lean very heavily on some leaders. And we, in fact, call them our Leadership United team. And these individuals that you're about to meet today are so instrumental in helping us organize and galvanize state departments from throughout California, and also help spread the good word about the Our Promise campaign and all the impact that it has. So, we're going to chat with them. We are also going to hear from my co-host today, the one, the only, Tabitha Angel has joined us from the Our Promise campaign. Hi, Tabitha, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you for being here. I think what we could, if you would be willing, is can we start with you, Tabitha, to talk about this amazing, talented group of people that have joined us today. Give us a little bit of background on the good, hard work that this team does year in and year out on behalf of the campaign.
Sure. So our program is called the Leaders United Executive Program, and it is a leadership program where we ask the state and its departments and agencies every year to loan an employee to us during campaign season. So roughly about 4 months. So we ask all of the multiple state departments and agencies, or sometimes beg them, to please loan somebody out to us to help us with the campaign season. There's 300,000 state employees. So as you can imagine, it is a very large workforce and a very large campaign to run. There are 3 of us on staff at the Our Promise team. So me, Angelica, and Ben, and we can't go out there and fundraise for 300,000 employees by ourselves. So we really lean on our leadership program and our Leaders United executives to come and help us run this campaign. So this is where it's a great opportunity where the state departments and agencies, pick an employee who they want to loan out. That's a long time to loan out. So it's a big deal to step away from their current day job and to come help us. But there's so much potential and so much opportunity to grow in this program, whether it's public speaking, fundraising, account management. There's so many pieces to this program. So it's really a great opportunity for an employee to kind of, in a sense, step away from state service, but also grow in this great sector of fundraising, but also really helping their fellow state employees to raise these great money to give back to these nonprofits.
I love that, Tabitha, and I love in particular because these are folks that are, on the ground, right? These are state employees that are not only giving back with their time and their volunteer service, but helping other people to do the same. And I thought what could be a lot of fun is if we sort of open this up to a bit of a roundtable discussion about your interpersonal involvement. So maybe we could start with Jamie. I see Jamie is on with us today. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
Thank you for being here with us. Jamie, which state department are you with?
So I work with California Health and Human Services Agency.
That's amazing. And how have you seen the reaction to 2020 in general, but specifically with regards to the Our Promise campaign with some of your fellow Health and Human Service Agency cohorts?
Yes, so I feel like overall it's been great. Of course, 2020 has been kind of wild for everyone. But the fact that we are virtual now and online, I just think is huge. And I think everyone is very excited about it. And we've just had amazing feedback from it so far.
That's so great. I think being able to pivot as the Our Promise campaign did this year to, as you said, a digital online model has been really, really helpful considering the new normal, right, that we're all dealing with here this year.
Mm-hmm.
I see Susie has joined us. Hi, Susie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here. Which state department are you with?
I'm with the Public Employees Retirement System.
Now, dealing with some retired state employees, you probably have an interesting vantage point. Similar question for you. How have you seen the pivot with 2020 and going digital? What has that meant for for the colleagues that you work with?
Well, as far as retirees, one of Tabitha's staff, she mentioned one of her managers, Ben, actually facilitates them being able to transition to giving once they go into retirement. So that's sort of a separate branch of the tree. And so I think that's still flowing nicely. But as far as going digital, my particular organization, we have been at the forefront of things such as accessibility, digital access to publications. And so I think this pivot has been especially welcome by some of my colleagues coming from that background.
That's really encouraging to hear. And I think it's an important note that you and Tabitha touched on is that, you know, our retired workers are still able to participate and be a big contributing factor to the ongoing Our Promise campaign. So it's really nice that Susie, your work with those types of communities have been really instrumental. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
I see Esther on my screen. Hi, Esther. How are you?
Hi, Patrick.
It's good to see you.
You.
Now, which state department are you with?
I work for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
And I know that in particular, that department every year comes out in full force. I think they're one of our highest fundraising departments year in and year out. Have you noticed that because of 2020 and the pivot to going digital, it's been the same type of enthusiasm amongst your department?
Well, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation is California Strong. We represent approximately 65,000 employees, state employees in the state of California. And while the campaign this year changed a bit, last year we had a big event outdoors. This year, what I'm finding is a lot of positive feedback about employees' ability to go into the portal and manage their donations through the portal. Have we had the same level of excitement? I would say yes, but differently. My department has put together an extensive media campaign to make up for the lack of the street party. But the enthusiasm is still the same, and the department is very committed to helping those who need assistance, particularly at this time.
Well, I love to hear it, you know, and it's important that, again, we talk about this new normal, we talk about the pivot to going digital. It's really exciting to hear that people are willing to make that journey with us, right? And that their commitment to giving back is just as strong as ever. I see Tahani. Hi, Tahani. How are you?
Patrick, I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us about your state department and which department you're here representing?
Yes, absolutely. I work for the Department of Transportation, also known as CalTrans. Huge organization, and I just have enjoyed working the campaign so much, and I've had lots of great feedback about it being online and how simple it is, and I hope it continues that way for years now, because I've had a lot of great people who's given the good word out about how simple it is. So it's been really, really, really good.
We love to hear that, Tahani, especially, you know, this year. I wanted to ask you, what has, as a member of this amazing Leadership United team, what inspires you each year to help motivate your fellow colleagues on behalf of giving back through the Our Promise campaign?
I love volunteering. I love going out and volunteering and being with people and helping people. And I am so passionate about the nonprofits, especially the organizations that deal with animals, because I love animals. So I just am really passionate about seeing people help each other. And so that's really been my motivation.
That's so wonderful to hear. You know, we talked with the SPCA, which is a local animal rescue group here in Sacramento earlier as part of this campaign. And to echo your sentiment, what they were saying is that because the adoption process has obviously been altered because of COVID, folks can't come inside to see and meet these animals, which by and large is how oftentimes they pick their forever fur baby, that they were really dependent on campaigns like Our Promise. So I know that a number of our donors really identify with that animal kinship that you share, Tahani. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
And then last but not least, I see we've been joined by a gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't see your name. I'm Patrick.
Hi, Patrick. My name's Tom Hunt. I'm with the California Public Employees Retirement System, as well as, Susie is from that organization.
Hi, Tom. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'd love to piggyback on what Tahani was just speaking about and ask you in particular, what motivates you to be a part of this Leadership United team and really help spreading the word about the good work that Our Promise does?
Well, I think this year, Patrick, what's so important in my heart is related to the pandemic. And, very early on in joining this team, just hearing from the nonprofit organizations and how they weren't able to, have their normal fundraising type of activities with the pandemic. And so it's important to me to get that message out to the state workers that, these nonprofits that help our community so much are in, great need of us as state workers and our donations to the campaign this year.
Tom, you touch on a theme that we heard often throughout this campaign with the various nonprofits that we interviewed, that a lot of their typical fundraising avenues, things like in-person events, live auction type of events, have obviously been eliminated. So campaigns like Our Promise really this year in particular are making a very impactful difference. So thank you for saying that. Mm-hmm. I guess this next question is just open to anyone who'd like to respond. But, one of the things that we hear often is that, during times of personal hardship for state employees, for citizens of the state, there's not a lot of exposable income, right, that people can give to these nonprofits. But that a donation as little as $5, right, from a single donor can make a huge, huge lasting impact. And, sometimes we do the coffee example, right, that $5 is just a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Have you found that when you're speaking with your fellow colleagues at the state departments, that you can message that in a way that that resonates with them? And feel free to jump in.
One of the nonprofits that I saw was Loaves and Fishes. And I could not believe that just $2 went so far to feed so many people. So when I talk to my friends and coworkers and I tell them that, they are amazed because they thought it took thousands of dollars to be able to feed a lot of people, but $2 is all it really takes. But our pledge is $5. So I always encourage that, at least the $5. But it was good to know how far that $2 that Loaves and Fishes takes feeds a lot of people.
And I think one of the big impacts for state employees is they get paid on a monthly basis, right? So for them, they have an entire month that they have to budget out for every single month. They get paid once and they have to figure out how they budget that, for all of their bills, everything. So one of the biggest things we kind of talk about, as we're fundraising and out there talking to them is, we're not asking for $5 a day. We're not asking for $5 a week, because that would add up to a lot of money and that would be a lot to account for and budget for. But what we are asking for is $5 just a month out of your monthly paycheck. And it's just a deduction, or you can make a one-time gift of $5 or more if you'd like. But what most people don't realize is when you take $5 and you break that down into a month, that comes out to 17 cents a day. And I'm sorry, I don't know what anybody's out there buying for 17 cents a day, except for maybe the reusable grocery bag at Safeway or your local grocery store. But that's it. You know, we used to be able to pay for parking and things like that with, you know, a quarter, or, you know, it's like, okay, you know, your pocket change. But if you think your pocket change and that adds up to $5 a month, and what that impacts for $60 annually a year to give back to these nonprofits for them to keep their doors open and to keep their programs running to help our communities, I think that's the biggest impact for, you know, not just for anyone, whether you're a state employee, whether you are a private sector employee, anybody now figuring out how they can give back to maybe those who are less fortunate. And it's happening to people we never thought it would happen to, people getting laid off and people needing these services more than ever at this time.
So well said, Tabitha. Susie, I kind of want to ask you this question. I mean, are you hearing some similar sentiment amongst your colleagues and your fellow colleagues at your department, in that, you know, the need is really great, and it's everywhere. It's animals, it's kids, I mean, what's some of the feedback that you're hearing?
I think that's exactly right. There is greater need, and, you know, you could say a deeper need, and a more widespread demographic need than I think perhaps anybody's seen before in California. And it's literally sectors that you never thought would be impacted that are being impacted. And so the whole, going back to your prior question about the $5, of that collective $5 making a difference is huge. Because you can do a lot with $5, but I've also kind of done some messaging about, and it's not just $5, it's that pooling of everybody's $5 that can be so impactful as well.
Jamie, I'll ask you this one. One of the things that we heard often with a lot of the nonprofit organizations that we had highlighted throughout the campaign was that, in addition to the services that they are known for having provided, they're being asked to provide them in different ways, that because now we have to be digital, or maybe you have to bring the services to the person as opposed to them coming to you because of COVID protocols, meaning that it increases the need. Is that something that you, as a member of the Leadership United team, is helping message, right? That we talk about the need being greater this year in particular, but it's not just because more people are in need, it's because sometimes the organizations are stretched even thinner than they have been. Are you hearing anything about that?
Yeah, for sure. There, you know, like we've all said, the need is now more than ever, and it's awesome to kind of watch everyone be super creative right now. There's a lot of feedback that we have going on from everyone. You know, as it was mentioned, we usually have like huge events once a year for this, and those have been taken away. So there's kind of everyone, we're all in this together, and we've all taken hits. But I think it's been great to see the nonprofits get creative. We do like a weekly call and get to hear from different nonprofits. It's just been an amazing experience, and it's something that definitely could have broke all of us, but we've all just came out so much stronger.
We're truly in it together. Well said, Jamie. Esther, when you're talking to some of your colleagues about the Our Promise program, what are some of the things that you find they react to the most positively, and what gets them to be the most interested in becoming potentially a new donor or a new contributor?
Patrick, I find that the presentations from nonprofit organizations, which is a benefit of being part of the Our Promise program, is extremely useful and extremely informative to employees. And I find that they feel that state employees, when upon hearing about a program or a nonprofit, it ignites something in them and they feel compelled to donate. One of the benefits of being a Leaders United is that we participate in a weekly volunteer activity. It's called Make a Difference Monday. And I would say that in the organizations that we visited, Each organization indicated that they are serving more people now than ever, as speaks to your prior question. So when we present this to our accounts and we tell them that we've gone to a nonprofit organization and they have expanded their need, and they then participate in a conference call at a department, there's almost no need to ask further. People will stand up, and we have seen people really extend themselves this year to inquire as well as to donate.
It's amazing to hear, and it really does speak to the power of storytelling. Particularly, I love when you mention that when they hear directly from the nonprofits, how impactful and meaningful that can be for them. Tom, do you have sort of a similar impression? I mean, about what sort of gets your colleagues excited as you chat with them about the Our Promise program?
Yeah, Patrick, you know, besides the nonprofits sharing directly with the various agencies that we're working with, what I've also found to be real impactful this year is the various departments have reached out to their staff and their employees, and those employees sharing their experience with nonprofit organizations and how it's been a impactful service that they've received. So for example, at CalPERS, they did a video and they featured 5 of our employees and their relationship with 5 different nonprofit organizations. And so that was very impactful. You know, it spoke to our employees, and I think the team members knowing each other, and I think that went a long way to kind of express the great need of these nonprofit organizations in our communities.
That's really well said. I think too, when you can, do something like the videos that y'all produced, it really encourages that sense of community, that we're in this together, we're giving back together, and it helps encourage colleagues to double up their efforts. It's a friendly, competitive way of saying, let's all give back as best we can.
I think there's this assumption that, because people have jobs or people have things, that people don't need nonprofits, or people, don't need their services. And that's quite the opposite. Don't know what everybody's situation is, and everybody maybe is struggling in a different way. And, the state employees, they just received a pay cut, and that can mean a lot of different things for state employees across the board, whether that's putting food on their table, that's covering their housing cost. It can mean a lot, that spaying their, their animal that they just adopted. I mean, there's lots of, cost is everywhere, costs are only increasing, we have seen. So, to have a pay cut on one side and to figure out, a lot of, state employees do use nonprofits in many different ways, whether that's a time of need and time of service, or a lot of people don't realize hospice care is, a nonprofit, and that a lot of folks, need hospice care, unfortunately down the road and things like that, or their family member or friend, close one has had to use that service. So it's really impactful to hear. We like to talk a lot and fundraise, and we talk a lot about how great everything is and what it does, but to hear from someone, especially a state employee, who it's personally impacted them, what that service has personally touched them, whether it was them directly or maybe it was a close family member or a friend, it's impacted them. That's truly the best part of storytelling and what really moves other state employees.
Well said, Tabitha. And I think it echoes sort of what Tom was saying as well, that when you can really get creative with how you storytell, it really is impactful. So Tahani, I'm going to look to you as we begin to wrap up this conversation. We are in the final stretches of the campaign, and we want to end strong. We talked with our campaign chair, Josh, Friday late last week, and he was really motivated and really excited about ending big. What are some of the takeaways that you've gotten from this campaign as we head into the final days, and what is inspiring you as we aim to end strong?
that it's never too late. It's never too late to pledge and to help each other. And so I think just that one last big push out to everybody, and vocally or through via email, whatever it is, is so important to get that word out and to make sure everybody helps and just give that last big push so that we all can help our nonprofits this year.
Very well said. Susie, Esther, Jamie, what do you all think? Any final rah-rahs as we head into the final days of the campaign?
I'll say the children are our future, so let's pay it forward.
Absolutely.
Patrick, I would just like to add, I've been thoroughly impressed, with the state, the size of the state, and, how many state workers. I've been thoroughly impressed how we've been able to go over to this online pledge process. And, for so many years, we had the paper pledge form, and, it was a certain time of the year, this time of year. And so the positive going to an online pledge is, state workers set up their own profiles, and they're able throughout the year to manage their own accounts and, amend, change their pledges throughout the year. So, I've been thoroughly impressed to see how well this transition's gone over to a pledge type of online pledge type of system.
I think that's a sentiment that is echoed, and I know it's a true testament to Tabitha and the entire team about, the transition this year was no easy feat, especially given the time frame in which you all had to do it. But Tabitha, I think it would be fitting if you could sort of wrap us up with your thoughts as we head into, the final days and week of the campaign, and what you're encouraged about as we wrap up.
Sure. I just want to say thank you so much for our Leaders United executives participating on this today. Without them, we truly cannot run a campaign. So if you are interested in our Leaders United program, reach out to us. We'd love to have you with the permission of your supervisor and manager, of course. But it is a really great program. I think they all can attest to that. We've been very fortunate that we have an amazing individual here from various state departments who have really helped us with this transition this year. So with that being said, we do have the campaign running. We extended it to November 13th this year. It is available through the Cal Employee Connect platform for state employees to register. So even if you're not maybe ready to donate yet, or you're maybe not ready to change your pledge, at least create a profile so that you will be able to access that 24/7, 365 days a year. Of course, the Our Promise team, we are here year round. I swear we don't only work 4 months a year. So during campaign season, we actually are here all year. So if you have any questions or any concerns or comments, or just need to talk to us about a few things, we have our great donor hotline that you'll be able to reach out to us. So visit us on our website at ourpromiseca.org. And we're happy to help you at any time, any day. And please check out through Cal Employee Connect and register to get your profile.
Thank you so much, Tabitha. We will link to all of those websites that you mentioned in the Facebook post after this is archived. I just wanted to echo her statement and say a big thank you to all of you, not only for taking the time to be a part of today's Facebook Live, especially on Election Day, but also to say that without your leadership and your dedication to this program, we could not nearly be as successful or raise as much money for deserving nonprofits across the state. So truly your efforts are appreciated today and every day. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Bye.